I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about the marathon that was Game 152 of the regular season. The Astros somehow, some way find a way to win 9-5 in one of the stranger games of the season for the Astros that went to the 12th inning. I am finally sitting down to record this. The game just ended at 2:05 a.m., which means by the time I get done recording, editing, rendering, and uploading, it will probably be 3 a.m. And then I'll have the internal monologue with myself of, by the time I finally get around to going to bed, it'll be around 4, and then I get to have the conversation of, do I just stay up and drink a lot of coffee and Red Bull, or do I actually get a few hours of sleep? But that isn't my problem. That's Weston and an hour and a half's problem, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Anyway, this game was bonkers and just ridiculous. So getting immediately into it. First inning, Yordan Alvarez. Okay, listen. Yordan, I get that your whole thing is that you hit baseballs really, really, really hard, right? I get that. I've watched, I believe, every at-bat you've ever taken, right? I get your shtick. I know that you like hitting balls really hard. But, sir, that baseball had a family. That baseball had a wife and kids at home watching. They did not need to see you completely abuse their father like that. Oh my goodness gracious. 116 off the bat, 456 feet deep to dead center. Not a cheapie, not a wall scraper. A 1,000 expected batting average. There is not a stadium on the planet that stays in at. Yordan Alvarez absolutely obliterates one in the first inning to make it 2-0 immediately. And man, oh man, I love watching this guy play baseball. And hey, look at that, more good news. In the 5th, Jason Castro, who's getting the start tonight, homers to make it a 3-0 ball game in favor of the Astros. Cool, great. The Astros are rolling. We're moving along great. Luis Garcia doing great to this point. Goes through 6 scoreless innings. A wonderful night for him. We are in cruise control. Let's just cruise on through the game and get out of this nice and quickly without any stress and just finish her off at 9. Oh, man. The 7th inning. Just bad luck for Phil Maton. The first hit of the inning was just really unlucky for him. I don't remember if it was the Jared Walsh double or the Luis Rengifo single to score a run, but I remember one of them I mentally made the note of. I'm like, that's sort of unlucky. There was the hit by pitch to Stassi. There was the walk that was definitely... he was getting very unlucky in that inning, to his credit. He got incredibly unlucky, and the Angels did exactly what you're supposed to do as a team hitting, which is, if the other guy is getting unlucky, take advantage of it. And they did. They clobbered him for 5 earned runs. Oh, oy vey. A 5-run inning for the Angels where they just clobber him. It was rough for Phil Maton. First one, the Luis Rengifo single, makes it 3-1. We're still in control. It's okay. Then the walk to Long, which, again, he swung at that. That really should have been a strikeout. But it's a walk. It's 3-2. Then the Jack Mayfield base-clearing double, 5-3 Angels. And at that point, you just kind of want to bang your head into the wall, and you're like, all right, well, that's cool. That's cool. But you're bummed out. You kind of think it's over at that point. But the Astros don't give up. And they showed incredible fortitude. Because earlier in the season, we might have just sort of lost this game. But we've shown a lot more fight recently. And the Astros rally back and end up winning the game, which was incredible. And they start that rally in the next inning. With 2 outs, Alex Bregman walks. Cool, he does that. I'm happy to see him have the discipline back. And then Yordan Alvarez smacks one, and it's one of those hits, and Yordan's had more than a few of them this season, it's just because of his crazy strength, where he hits the ball, and you're like, oh, that's an easy pop-out. And then it just kind of keeps on carrying, and you're like, that's a pop-out. That's a pop-out? That's not a pop-out? It just kind of kept carrying. It had a weird second life to it. I thought it was an easy pop-out, and it just kept on going, maybe a foot or so short of being a home run to tie the game, but... makes it a 5-4 game with the Astros. A great double. Yordan Alvarez went 3 for 4 tonight. He was fantastic. And then the Cuban Missile Crisis. Next man up, Yuli Gurriel. Singles. Scores Yordan. Ties it at 5. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. Then the bottom half of the 8th happened, and it's ranting time. That's right, I'm standing because what happened was, rip your hair out. So, bottom of the 8th. So, Yordan Alvarez goes out into left field, right? Cool. Yordan's in left field. Cool, we're good. We're set there. Then, Yordan Alvarez comes off the field, and we go, oh, gee willikers, I wonder what that's for. I wonder why we're pulling him. And it was a defensive substitution to remove Yordan Alvarez from the game. Okay, why are you doing that? And it's for defensive reasons, right? That's what we're all sort of led to believe, because he didn't go to the clubhouse, he just went into the dugout. So, you're subbing him defensively because he's a liability. Except, here's the thing, he isn't a liability. Yordan Alvarez is the definition of an average defensive left fielder. He is exactly average. I think he is -1 outs above average. He is just treading the middle, right? Basically a 0 UZR. I think it's -0.1, which is basically nothing. And if I'm not mistaken, his defensive run saved is like -1, right? He is exactly average. Like, he is on the line as close as you can be. So you sub in, right? You toss on in there Jose Siri to sub for him defensively. Except, here's the thing, Jose Siri has a lower UZR, a worse UZR, than Yordan Alvarez. So by that statistic, you're subbing in you're taking out your best hitter, debatably either him or Tucker. You can have that debate amongst yourselves. I think it's probably at the moment it's Yordan Alvarez. So you're taking your best hitter out of the game in a tie game in the late innings while you're in the midst of trying to clinch the division in the next few days, right? And you sub in a defender who debatably is a worse defender, right? And I did the math. So Yordan Alvarez, 274 innings in left field this season, right? That's a good little chunk. He's had 46 plays, right? He has had 43 putouts. He has had 2 outfield assists and 1 error. So there is a 5.9% chance a ball is put in play that he has to field. That is not high. Say 6% chance. That's not a ton. If you go by the just average of there's 8 fielders, so, I'm not counting pitcher for that metric, by the way. That's a 12.5. So it's about half of that, right? It's 6% that a ball is put into play that he has to go do something with. And with his fielding percentage, and I hate fielding percentage. I don't like using fielding percentage. I think that is a very flawed statistic, and I don't like I like using outs above average for defensive stuff. But since I'm talking about just this, in the sense of like plays that he's having to make, it's a 978. So there is a very quick and dirty math. A 2.2% chance that he commits an error if a ball is hit to him. But the chance of a ball even being hit to him and then making the error is 1.28%. So you're subbing out your best hitter in your lineup for a debatably worse defender in the off chance, in the 1.289% chance a ball is hit to him in fear that he's making an error. Do you understand why I kind of went a little bit crazy when this happened? Right, I'm calmed back down and I'm back in the chair. And then even weirder, right? So after that, right, you put Jose Siri in there, which I don't like the move. I would have been fine keeping Yordan in there because he's probably your best offensive player this season, your best bat in the lineup. You go, all right, well, you know what? It's whatever. Because you know what? Jose Siri, even though it's only been 32 plate appearances at the major league level, even though that's not a ton, he rakes, right? Only 34 plate appearances. He has like a 374 on base, if I'm not mistaken. 333 average, slugging like 750 or so, which that's not sustainable over a full season or anything, but I mean it's crazy good for right now. A 199 WRC plus, that's unreal. That's fantastic. So like, even though it's a very, very small sample size, I'm okay letting him go in there, right? We'll see what happens. But then we sub Jose Siri out for Aledmus Diaz as a hitter, and at that moment my brain broke. At that moment, that was the moment I was like starting to lose it a little bit, but it's okay. We won. It's okay. We won, it's okay. We won, it's okay. We won, it's okay. Just keep repeating that to myself. We won, it is okay. I don't have to worry about weird substitutions made by Dusty Baker. So in the 10th, the Astros get into a little bit of an oopsie-doopsie situation where you kind of start to panic because it got real dicey. Blake Taylor's in. Bases loaded, no outs. And at that point, you basically go, okay, it's over. Good run. You know, we tried our best. We did what we could. The game is pretty much over. Correa makes an incredible play, right? Hit to him. He gets the ball on a diving stop on his knees, throws home, gets the runner. Unreal play. Awesome play. Fantastic. Then, next guy up. Hits a ball over to Chas McCormick, who makes a great running catch. He had a few incredible plays tonight. A couple of awesome diving catches. And then this one, which was fantastic. Running catch, gets the ball, immediately throws home, beats Ohtani, who was coming home. Ohtani, who is a pretty decent base runner, I believe 60-ish, like 65th above percentile for sprint speed. So, not a slow runner by any means. And he beats him by a mile. He beat him so bad I was almost afraid something was going to go wrong. We had so much time with how much that throw beat him home by. But Castro, misses him on the first tag because Ohtani kind of ran around it. It's okay. We get him out. We get out of the inning. And somehow, being in the bottom of the 10th with the bases loaded, no outs, the Astros, by a miracle of defensive wizardry, get out of it and push it on to more extras. Which takes us to the 12th inning. Chas McCormick starts it off. He singles. Marwin Gonzalez moves over to third base. We're in business. Next guy up, Jake Myers. He singles. Makes it a 6-5 Astros lead. Awesome. Then the next man up, Jose Altuve, getting booed like crazy. Doubles. Makes it an 8-5 Astros lead. And then the throw home allows him to move over to third base, but it's ruled a double. Alex Bregman, sac fly. Makes it a 9-5 baseball game. And the Astros from there basically cruised. Josh James came in the 12th, and pitched really well. And the Astros escape a game where for a moment there it looked like it was pretty much over they stole a win. There were so many times the Angels kind of had their foot on our throat and we were able to just get out of it. There was the 7th, obviously, where the 5 runs could have totally shifted momentum. And then the 10th where we really had no business not losing right then and there, if we're being honest. Pitching tonight is a little bit weird. Luis Garcia pitched, I'm going to say, pretty well. 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 walks. Only 1 strikeout, however, which was kind of weird. But didn't give up any runs, so I'm perfectly fine with that. Phil Maton, yeah, boy. Not good, but I thought he got kind of unlucky. But a little unluckiness, even though that's not even a word, also does not excuse a third of an inning with 5 runs, all of them earned, with a walk and no strikeouts. That was a rough evening for him. Hopefully this gets it out of his system. Kendall Graven came in after that, and granted he didn't look great, but he didn't give up an earned run, which is sort of how you have to look at it for his night, because the runs that he did give up, if he would have just started an inning, wouldn't have been there, so it's sort of a weird thing. It's whatever. Brooks Raley came in, and Brooks Raley was dominant. He was fantastic. Picked up a pair of strikeouts, nasty strikeouts, clean inning. Brooks Raley, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's given up 1 earned run in his last 15, maybe 16 innings. He is fantastic, and that's great, especially coming up on the playoffs. If he can start pitching like this consistently, he's pitched the past, 10 or so games, the Astros might just be in business with Brooks Raley in the postseason, and he could maybe have a Brad Peacock type postseason where it's kind of legendary, not coming out of the pen for maybe prolonged relief. I don't know. Who's to say? Presley with a lockdown 9th inning to keep us in it and send us to extras. 1 inning of work. Also a pair of strikeouts. Did give up a hit, but it's whatever. Blake Taylor, again, looked real shaky, but the Astros get out of it by miracle. Yimi Garcia would pick up the win tonight. He looked pretty darn solid. 1 2/3, didn't give up any hits or walks, no runs, kept us in it entirely. And then Josh James completely locked down the 12th inning to get the Astros the win on a game that I'm going to say it one last time, we completely stole. Offensively, the big hitter was Yordan Alvarez. 3 for 4, 3 RBIs, a pair of runs scored, home run, double, and a single. He was bananas tonight. Obviously, it's sort of weird to use it for individual games, but I think it's fun. A 585 WRC plus for tonight's individual game for Yordan Alvarez, which this guy is just fun to watch. I love that we get to watch this guy for hopefully the next decade or more. Like Yordan Alvarez, man, is just awesome to watch. Yuli as well had a pair of hits. Tucker had a hit and a pair of walks. Kyle Tucker, I mean, doesn't always get hits, but gets on base. Pair of walks, not too shabby there. Correa, on his birthday, sadly went 0 for 6, but had a great defensive play where he quite literally saved the game. So you take what he can get. Jason Castro had the home run. Altuve had a hit and a pair of RBIs, obviously, late in extras. Jake Myers had a big hit that scored the game-winning run, or the game-winning RBI. Chas McCormick had a 3-hit night, which is pretty darn good, and also just 3 incredible plays defensively. The Astros outfield, remember last season when we were all kind of terrified about the Astros outfield and having, internal conversations about, gee willikers, I wonder what we're going to do about the outfield next year? And then this season happened, and we had so much outfield depth, we traded our starting center fielder, who was debatably the best defensive center fielder in the league, because we just had so much depth, and then everyone who's come up to take his place has played just as well, if not better, in every sense of the form, with guys like McCormick and Myers and now Jose Siri. This farm system, man, I know we've been horribly ranked for basically all of eternity. They just keep finding ways to be an incredibly solid farm system. It's freaking incredible, man. This was quite the game. Quite the game. But the Astros escape it. Magic number down to 3 to win the division. And there's only 10 games left this year before the postseason. It's been a long trip here. But 10 games left. We have an 8-game lead of the division. So it's pretty much all but locked up. Hopefully tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, we're going to have Lance McCullers head to the mound. Hopefully he can get us down to 2. Or maybe 1, depending on if the A's can win. They're going to send Alex Cobb to the mound. He goes in with a 3.59. And we send everyone's favorite pitcher, Lance McCullers Jr., to the mound, who rolls in with a 3.11. Could be down to 2 tomorrow night. Could be down to 1 tomorrow night. Can't wait. Anyway, that's all I have to say for the evening. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Astros.